What is going on YouTube? Carter here. Got another video for you. We are going to be talking about the Hawk Knives Deadlock. But this isn't going to be a review or really a hardcore overview of this knife. I want to discuss how I think this knife is revolutionizing OTFs and is going to change the face of OTFs for the future. And I don't just mean the locking mechanism and the cool internals. I think it's much more than that, and it goes beyond that. I've got a Benchmade Infidel here too, just for comparison for a few different points. But before I start, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I don't mean that just in a standard like YouTube content creator. Thank you for doing all that stuff because I want more. I really love doing these videos. I like talking about this stuff. There's nobody in my real life that wants to hear me talk about this stuff. So the fact that you guys do and that you comment and like, and I get more people watching and participating, it's just awesome. It makes me feel like what I'm doing has some sort of value and reinforces the love that I have doing it. So appreciate all that from everybody. It's really, really awesome. And I think you guys are great. So moving on to the video. So what do we have here? Let me do an overview, right? Before I get into what I'm positing here, let me do an overview in case people are not familiar with what this is. So this is an OTF out the front automatic knife. Very similar to this Benchmade Infidel. Internally, completely different. Well, completely is a subjective term, but quite a bit different. A lot of innovation here, but essentially these are the same type things, right? The Infidel's been around for a really long time. The Hawk Deadlock really started making waves over the last couple of years, but it's been around prior to that in different versions. This is the Model C. It's the latest version or iteration, or I guess you would say, yeah, culmination of different engineering techniques and refinements. According to Gavin, this is going to be the last model. Now, I imagine there's going to be tweaks as we move forward, but this is going to be the last major change in the model. A and B are quite a bit different than this. Same mechanism, or pretty close to the same mechanism, but quite a bit different in terms of efficiency of scale and size of the handle and things. So both are OTF automatic knives, which means with a button, you can push the knife out, you can suck it back in, so on and so forth, just like this one. They differ in a couple different ways. Mechanically, the Deadlock's claim to fame is that it has zero blade play. And by zero blade play, I literally mean this is like a fixed blade. I cannot move it at all. I hear some people claim that they can move it like a micrometer, like a little bit. That could be the case. Mine is 100% rock solid. And you may say, why is that such a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because OTFs are known for blade play. It's just accepted, right? That they all are going to have it because it's needed for the mechanism. It's needed to make it reliable, and it's just part of the game. The only difference is how much. Some of the higher end knives, some of the customs, Microtechs, even this Benchmade have minimal blade play. You get into the cheaper ones, Chinese made ones, you're typically going to have more blade play. Overall, I think that issue has progressively gotten better. Even on some of the cheaper ones now, it's not that bad. Years and years ago, it was a mess. You know, they were super floppy blades. But anyways, so that's kind of the claim to fame here. They did that via a very innovative design inside that basically pushes that tang hard up against the side wall here. So it prevents it from moving. It's not just on a track. It actually pins it up against the side and prevents any movement from occurring. Very, very cool. That's generally what people know this knife for. And when I say this is an innovative design, that's what they're thinking. But I actually think it's more than that. That's great. You know, the no blade play, that's great. But to me, that's actually the least of the importance of this knife. This knife is breaking the mold and the perception of what an OTF is and what type of person uses an OTF. Unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity around this type of knife. Some of it stems from knockoffs, cheap knockoffs, people assuming they're just toys, they can't be used seriously, poor materials, cheap construction that have plagued the OTF world for years and years and years. The other side is kind of the perception that only people that are tactibros are into these type of knives, right? Which arguably there's some truth there. There is a big following on these type of knives, automatic knives, that are people that really associate with and enjoy kind of that military, tactical, fighting knife, kind of badassery type image. It's been very prevalent in these type of knives. Not all of them, but that's the general idea. And not all of it is completely organic. For many, many years, that's what these were sold as. They are illegal in some states to varying degrees, and they're kind of marketed towards military and police personnel. So they kind of did that to themselves in the industry, and the consumers just picked up on that and said, cool, you know, this is issued to military. I want it. I want to be like a cool military guy who's serving our country and doing all kinds of awesome, manly things. So those kind of people have gravitated towards this type of knife for years and years and years. But what this knife does is it's exposing this platform to people that otherwise wouldn't have been exposed to this, right? So Gavin has been making knives for years and years, and all of his designs are pretty remarkable. They're very elegant, they're very utilitarian, but they're also refined, and they all have very unique and innovative mechanics around them. And so when he came out with this knife, he did the same thing. This has all those characteristics. This is a very refined and elegant OTF, along with the amazing mechanical features of this. This looks like something that somebody who's into custom knives and appreciates kind of refined knives would be associated with. Has all those characteristics. You have the beautiful stone-washed, clean blade. There's no branding plastered on this. Beautiful carbon fiber, titanium accents, very limited writing and branding on this knife. It's very nice looking. It's a very useful but unimposing size. It's not overly large, but it's also not novelty small. And I think this is changing the way people are looking at these type of knives, and potentially forever. I can imagine some really cool collaborations revolving this platform. Could you imagine if Gavin and Birch Tree Blade Works got together, did a version of this knife, a custom version of this knife with a nice, beautiful blade with a hamon in it, some nice accents, maybe some mokutai, titanium frame, which Gavin already does a titanium frame version of this. This is going to end up and is ending up in the pockets of people that would scoff at something like this 4 years ago. And I think that's great. I think that's amazing. That's exactly what we need. I love the OTF platform. I love everything about it. Something about the blade coming out like this, I love it. I love the mechanics of it. I remember when I first found out how these work, and I was blown away. I was blown away that that's how they work, and I was blown away that mechanism can be housed inside a handle like this. And I've been fascinated with the mechanics of these knives ever since, as well as the very satisfying deployment of these. I just love them. I think they're really, really cool. And I'm super glad that this might be a turning point, and we're going to start seeing more and more of these knives. We're going to see less and less demonization of people that are into these knives. We're going to see more innovation, more styles. I'm just super excited for the future of OTFs. I think it's going to be a very bright, bright future. And ideally, if we can get the enthusiasm for these up enough, maybe we can change some of these state legislations and make it difficult to own and carry these in some places. Because really there's no reason for those. It's based in fear. It's based in fear of the people they assume would have something like this. And so if we can change that perception and say, no, it's not weird thugs or extremists that are carrying this knife. It's everyday people who need it for its utility and appreciate its design and its mechanics. I think that's a good thing. And I think it's amazing. And I think what this knife represents is far more than the mechanical innovation inside. I'm really excited about it. So that's my ramble about what I think is the importance of this knife. And I can't wait to see what the future brings. Thanks for watching. You guys take it easy. I'm out of here.